Solely, how can we be more soul aligned?
It's a process, and I think it comes in spurts. And the reason it does is these physical bodies are very dense. And what's part of the physical body is the emotions and the brain. Your spirit and soul your soul is not part of the physical body. It borrows bodies, so to speak. So when you are wanting to align something that is dense and of this world to higher beings, higher matter, higher frequencies, it takes some doing and it takes some skill. And I think the more evolved we get, so to speak, and I say that with great trepidation because there's a lot of judgment attached to it, but the more we work on ourselves and allow these energies to come through us lifetime after lifetime, eventually we start getting more soul input rather than personality input. So I'll give you an example. I have friends of all religions, all whatever. And my friends that are Wiccan, some of those ethical, lovely beings I've ever encountered, some call themselves witches, some say they just believe in the earth energies. They are worshiping, in a way, the dignity of the physical body. Because the physical body that is so dense for us is made up of the elements of the earth. We have earth, wind, water, and fire. We have the fire in the electrical systems of the body. The body is mainly water. The wind is the breath. And earth is all the minerals that make up the body and everything else. So these friends of mine that are Wiccan, they tend to get their soul input by connecting with the earth, with the Davic beings. Now, other people in other pathways get it differently. Don't think you're doing it wrong. You have to find what works for you and be patient and be grateful for the little pieces that we get that we then have to put into the puzzle of who we are. When we get these soul downloads or these inputs, it's not continuous. That would make us insane. And that does happen, by the way. It can. So we are basically fed small pieces at a time at a very basic level. It has to acclimate to the physical body, see? What use is it if it's just out there in the ethos or the environment and we can't access it and use it physically? We're here to be physical beings for a while. So patience is part of it, and also recognizing when we get those energy signatures that it's something special, that this is taking me out of normal time or space. And I don't mean a drug-induced psychosis or you're drunk or that's not, and you know what I'm talking about. When you have that peace of mind and that sense that time isn't existing for a little bit. Parents, a lot of times that happens when you're watching your infant sleep and you're somewhere else. You're just somewhere else. And to me, that can be a time that's precious when we are getting downloads from the soul. Now, do we get them in dreams too? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we do. Do we get it from other people? I think we can get connection from other people. So it's a very vast landscape of potential signatures. And you have to find what works for you. Linda, when you're getting one of these downloads or connected, what do you feel? What can you tell people about that?
You put it very well when you said it's almost like you're out of time. And it's interesting because I felt that way the other day and I was trying to put it into words because a very peaceful and calm feeling. Maybe it's detachment.
Yeah. I mean, why not? Why not? And we have to remember that these things come and go. It's up, down, black, white, left, right. These things come in signatures that are sporadic. Some of them are slower or faster, but we're not made to live in the hum all the time. We have to acclimate this stuff and connect it to something we already have. I think detachment's a good reason for it, but it's nothing that we're consciously detaching from.
Yeah, that explains it better because it's not an act of doing, it's more being. And it's interesting because we often want to disconnect from our bodies, but when we're totally connected, it feels almost, I'm not sure what the right word is, but it's almost as though we're divine as well as physical at the same time, which of course we are.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way of putting it. Thank you for that. And when we do acclimate those higher energies into what we already know and do, that's when the magic starts to happen. That's when we can make change on this earth, I think.
Yeah, and I think it goes to what you've been saying recently about how we have to be our own beloved, because it's in that where we're accepting of our physical state as well as acknowledging the divine beyond that.
I agree. I'm not a person that says, well, we're physical, so we're stupid, we're idiots. We have to overcome the physical by beating ourselves, by this and that. No, I don't think so. I mean, does that work? Maybe. I don't know. But I think that this newer age energy we're in begs for kindness, compassion, detachment, and just letting a lot of stuff go. Just let it go. I came to a reason lately as to why sometimes I get wired out in certain circumstances. And I saw an image of my mom. Now, my mom, oh, she was a goddess to me. I just loved her. But she was diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder, probably in her 30s or mid 40s. And of course, they gave her drugs. That's what you did with women back then. She wasn't drugged or doped up, but it was a stressor. And I realized that I took on a lot of those behaviors to deal with stress. So the school I'm in now, last month I was in the school of learning a breathing technique. Now this school is to say, if I'm feeling a stressor or a worry, look at that, Zoli. That's probably what you saw your mom do because she didn't know not to. Now listen, and I thought, she was born in 1921. Think of the difference in the energies for that population. They were getting ready to get into the world wars. It had the first one. But they were raised by people who were born in the 1800s. And their grandparents were born in the early 1800s or late 1700s. Are you kidding? Think about that. So she had stressors, and she was a first child of three girls living in a community. My adopted mom was Jewish. They were poor. And her stressors, a lot of it was of non acceptance. So if I feel now, now think about in your life when you get these stressors, did you get it from your parents? When I feel like I'm not accepted, a lot of times I might be channeling her or I got that from her. This is why we have to go back, follow the prompts, keep backing it up and backing it up. She was Jewish and she had a hard time with Judaism, but she was genetically Jewish and she loved the religion, but she also got into Buddhism. But she was bitter because when she was growing up at the high holy days, Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah, they couldn't afford to go to temple because you had to pay. So she became embittered. So that bitterness fed into her sense of rejection of self, that she wasn't good enough. And she became obsessively compulsive to do everything right and perfectly. So when I think about that of my mom, and I think, why haven't at age almost 72, I've never seen or given myself the benefit of the doubt to be my beloved and say, these aren't my worries. This was mom. I learned this. So much of our behavior is patterned from our childhood. We are hardwired. This is why learning who we are now and reclaiming those pieces is integral to peace of mind.
That's a profound realization of how healing happens when through ancestral generations and generations.
It does. And there are ancestral curses. But I'll back up a little bit and say, I think that understanding came to me, that God gave me that understanding because I had been saying to myself, I am my beloved. And I was giving myself a break, and I created a space where that could come in. So when we are kind to ourselves, we create these spaces to where these new understandings can come in.
So that revelation, be your own beloved, that you've noticed that you've had reverberations of clarity and ideas and knowledge from there. Does that happen often with downloads or messages, that the insight comes over time?
Oh, yeah. It has to. It's all climbing the ladder. It's all making space for something. But what comes with it is grief. We feel a grief because we feel something leaving that's been in our cells of our body, in our atomic structure, in our emotions. It has viscosity. It's dense and it's real. And you can almost point to it once you see it. Well, look at that. I cannot believe that. So I feel now a loss in a way. Part of it is that I've been doing this all my life. And she did it all her life, getting on her case about her difficult father who blamed her and made her this or that. So we carry these things forward. And when we become our beloved, we allow input from the soul to filter in because we're more relaxed, we're calmer. And that calmness is the signature of divinity.